Hello everyone, myself Fatima Sania, and today I will be talking on the seminar that is based on high throughput computing. It's um, basically a topic from cloud computing that we're dealing from our third module. So before any much delay, let's get into it. We are starting with high throughput computing, that is task computing in a wide area of distributed system programming encompassing several different models of architecting distributed application which eventually are based on the same fundamental abstract of the task. A task is generally represented a program which might require input file and produce output file as a result of its execution. In task computing, we have different task computing. Characterizing task computing, that is a task in general abstraction and identifies a program or a combination of a program that constitutes computing unit of distributed application with a tangible output. Then we have computing categories, in that we have different high computing, that is high performance, high throughput computing, and many task computing. And then we have framework for task computing. In there we have several frameworks as well, where it supports the execution based on the task of the application and distributed computing resources. Some of the task computing frameworks are Condor and Colbus Toolkit, etc. And then we come to task-based application models. There are several models based on the concept of task as a fundamental unit of computing distributed application. Most common and popular models used are based on the concept of task. Here we have parallel application that consists most of simple and intuitive category of distributed application. We have parameter sweep application, and then we have MPI application, that is message passing interface, in a specific for deploying parallel programs that communicate by enhancing messages. MPI provides developers with a set of solutions that can solve the problems. Here you can see an MPI reference scenario, also an MPI diagram. It basically manages the distributed in an environment where MPI programs are executed. They also provide facility for point-to-point communication. Moving forward, we see workflow application with task dependencies. That is application and characterized by collection of tasks and submit on dependencies among them. And then we have workflow. So what is workflow? The term workflow is a long traditional business community where we have used to discipline the composite services and all of them together. Here you can see a diagram of the workflow which is represented. It's a general process of computing as a Messiac, and labeled as a right distributed in the different task areas and have different performance. Going ahead, we have workflow technology. In workflow technology, it is a business-oriented computing workflow and defined as a composition and a service that there is specific language and a standard for defining the workflow, such as business process execution language. As you can see from the workflow diagram, or we can say a design, there are tools allow users to visually compose workflow application. Now we have Aneka task-based programming. What is Aneka task-based programming? Aneka provides support to all the rows of tasks based on programming by means of task programming model. Task programming model is nothing but it provides a very intuitive abstraction and quickly developing distributed application which is on top of Aneka. Again, we have developing application with task model, executing the task model based on the application, where it involves different functions, defining the class implementation of ITAS interface, creating property configuration of Aneka, creating ITAS instances and wrapping them into Aneka instances. And after that, we have file management, task libraries, web services as well in developing applications. In developing a parameter sweep application, this is like an Aneka integrated support for parameter sweeping application on top of table model by means of collecting of components that is all together and developed together quickly in a prototype application through a programming APIs or GUIs. They have object model and also development model. Workflow, you can see from the workflow diagram that the workflow is nothing but it is an Aneka native, but also it is obtained with a plug that allows the client to be based on workflow and manages the submit of the task in the Aneka. Altogether, they consist of two sides. This is all from the task computing and high throughput computing, Aneka based applications, and rest all. Thank you so much.